What? Bro, this chapter was. Oh, what in the world just happened? Can somebody please tell me what in the world has happened in this week's two chapters? Manga Panda released two chapters, 19 and 20 of Black Clover, because I am completely lost. So, to calm down, to calm my nerves, I've read this chapter. I've read them both three times. To calm my nerves, because I can barely get my thoughts together, let's. I just want to hit a couple of points because this is a review slash reaction. I'm telling you right now because this is insane. Okay, so first off, in chapter 19, towards the beginning, we start off with a little bit of more backstory with Marth. Kind of like how Zabuza, people even, I see people making the case that Marth is just a complete replica of Zabuza. They do have some similarities, again, but we get some even more backstory, even more than we even did with Zabuza, really, into what Marth had to do to get to where he is. And we see him with a friend that it looks like a girl. I would assume it's a girl. Probably his only friend in that little area that in the Diamond Country where they were testing these kids, and we see that they were in a room with a couple of other kids, and they had to kill each other essentially to make it out. And his friend even turned on him at the end. Yeah, his friend, the girl, even turned on him at the end. And, said, "I have to kill you, Marth," and he ends up having to kill her to stay alive, which is just so messed up, man. It's just such a messed up situation that they're in. They can't really do anything about it, but it is what it is. So moving past that, we also get some of Noelle's backstory as well. Right after Mars, because her name is hard to pronounce. I think it's Momixa. I think it's Momik. That's what, at least that's what the chapter is saying. Her name is Momixa, or Momia or whatever. Um, bas- basically like her. I think I'm pretty sure they're related. If I'm missing that, please correct me. But I'm pretty sure they're related, as we see in the backstory. How Noelle is the one that really worked hard, and Momixa was kind of the prodigy, the prodigy, and everything was really perfect for her. And Noelle was very clumsy, and she had really no barely any control of her powers when she was younger, and even now she barely has control. But we learned that she really had to struggle and fight to even keep up with everybody else, which is really cool information. Is which is really good to know, especially in the dire situation that they're in. But I mean, one of the highlights of the chapter, towards the ending, wow, that sword, man. And you know what? And somebody told me, I posted my last review on Facebook, and not on Facebook. Actually, somebody in my last review in the comment section told me that this it's a different sword, and I didn't notice that in my last review. I thought it was his old sword, and it just changed a little bit. But I went back and read it after somebody told me in the comment section on my last video, and it's actually you. If you look closely, his original sword is in front of him, and the different sword is he looks back at a new sword when he busted through that room. And so this new sword, it looks a little bit smaller. If you guys look closely, it looks smaller, it looks slimmer. So I'm thinking, oh, he's gonna have, and it looks, you could tell he has more speed but less power, and that was a problem. He had speed, he could keep up with all the attacks, but he had less power, so he couldn't take him out. But so I'm gonna talk about more about that sword later. But he has more speed with this new sword that he picked up, but less power. Which his other sword had a whole bunch of power, but less speed. So it's kind of a catch-22. But this sword, man, at the ending of this chapter, and then the beginning of going into chapter 20, he makes a cut, and a water wave barrier slash cuts. He just swipes his sword, and the water barrier comes out, and it cuts towards Mars. And I'm like, wait, what? I mean, I'm literally like, wait, what am I reading? Is this like Getsu Getensho? Like, what is happening? Like, and I'm like, he has no magic. So what's going on? I'm thinking like, is that just the strength of his slash? Is it just like the force of his slash going towards Mars? And no, we find out right after that he can borrow magic from. I'm guessing it's not fully fleshed out yet, but what we can assume is from this chapter he can borrow magic from somebody around him or somebody close to him, or somebody can give him or lend him their magic for the time being. Either he can borrow it or they can lend it to him. Basically, the same thing. But Noelle's water magic, he either Noelle gives it to him or he borrows it from her. It's not 100% clear, but I'm guessing that he borrowed her water magic from her and used it with that sword, that new sword, and slashed. So here's what we're getting. His old sword can cancel magic. And he still has that old sword. And the new sword that I'm guessing, well, and at the end of the chapter, we see that new sword goes into his grimoire. And his old sword he still has. So now he has two swords that he used at his disposal. Oh my goodness. His one of his swords can cancel magic. His second sword can borrow magic from those surrounding him, or they can lend him their magic for, I'm guessing, just a moment or just one attack, and he can use their magic as his attack. Let's, I mean, yes, man. And this series is getting so epic. I mean, and that's not even the craziest part. Man, I'm telling you, he can borrow magic, people. He's borrowing magic from his teammates, from his comrades. He's borrowing magic. And he can use that sword whatever he wants. The question is, what I want answered is, where in the world did that sword come from? Because it seems like the sword came out of nowhere. And that little bird, I always forget that bird's name, just flew towards it and directed him towards where the sword was. But why was that sword there, and where did it come from? I'm pretty sure, hopefully, it will be explained. But other than that, man, now he has two swords. He can cancel out magic with one sword, and he has more power with that sword, but less speed. And then he has another sword now with more speed but less power, but can borrow magic from other people. Asta is about to be a savage. Now I'm wondering, and another person in the comment section, in my comment section last video, told me this too. Will he at some point be able to dual wield? We don't know, but if he can dual wield, that's a different video for a different day, people. Right now, but not even the highlight of the chapter. You know. I mean, he sees, because Asta, at the end, Mars was able to throw one last attack, catch Asta off guard, and hit him in the stomach. So Asta's out of commission. He eats for a second, but then he's out of commission. Mars, with that giant sword, that humongous sword, tries to cut down on Asta, and it's like, I have no time left. What in the world am I supposed to do? Anything I use, first of all, he breaks out. He breaks out of the ice. A last minute effort to break out of the ice, and he's wondering to himself, I have no attacks that can get to Mars as fast enough before the sword cuts down on Asta. And out of nowhere, like a fairy-like creature comes out of nowhere. And at first I'm wondering, what in the world is this? And it looks like time. And if you guys look closely, I don't know if somebody agrees with me or not, it looks like time stopped when she popped up. Like time just stopped. And I was like, no. What is going on? And she just blows. She just blows like that. And eviscerated. I mean, destroyed Mars. And both that sword and Mars. And I'm like, what? What is going? I'm reading a chapter like, what am I reading? What is going on? I mean, just destroys Mars. And I'm like, wait a minute. The hieroglyphs from when they first entered the tomb with all the treasure, the glyphs, that the book that picked up with all the glyphs in it, I said in my review, I knew that glyph would be important. lo and behold, he oh my goodness, the fairy. We realize at the end of the chapter that the fairy came from the glyphs. However, it is there's a connection between the fairy and the glyphs that picked up. And I'm thinking, and tell me if I'm wrong. The glyphs were engraved in Grimoire, so I don't. He cannot have that fairy at his disposal whenever he wants. He has to have some type of rules and regulations to use that. So much has to be explained in the next chapters. I just want the next couple chapters of dialogue explaining what in the world, because and Asta just went from low tier to, like, I'm guessing mid tier, at least mid tier or low mid tier, at least. I mean, they're getting so powerful so fast. I mean, they're at least low mid tier right now. So other than that, I know this review was crazy. I mean, I'm going insane. But other than that, guys, please tell me what you think of these two chapters. Any and all comments, please tell me what you think. Huge discussion in the comment section. But other than that, guys, remember always to comment, rate, and subscribe as always. Most importantly, comment. Let's talk about this chapter. What do you guys think? Other than that, guys, I will see you guys later. Peace. Man.